U.S. states like New Mexico and Wyoming and Delaware have always attracted a number of businesses who wanted to set up companies or LLCs there for one reason in particular. They offered a certain amount of anonymity. I'm going to give you a couple reasons why that level of anonymity may no longer be compelling and why you shouldn't chase that anonymous LLC. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson, and I've seen a lot of people who have come to us who have already set up part of their offshore strategy. Maybe they've talked to someone in the tax world and they come with a Wyoming LLC. Or there are people who have always told me, hey, New Mexico LLCs, your name is nowhere attached. And they said that's a great strategy. Now, this is a perfect example of where you really want a holistic plan when you're going offshore, okay? The kind of stuff that you can do domestically isn't always going to work when you start involving other different countries, and it's a reason of risk. Okay, so let's talk about two reasons why the anonymous LLC that doesn't have your name on it might not work, and so it might be a better idea to set up your LLC or your company in another state. The first reason is if you want a diversified international strategy where you have a US company and you've got a foreign company and you want to move money between them. I've seen particular cases where, guy comes in, he's moving money from the U.S. to, let's say, Panama because he doesn't want to keep all of his money in the United States. And the bank in, let's say, Panama will say, well, this is great. Why did you just get $500,000 from some U.S. company? Oh, we own that company. It's also my company. Okay, can you show us that documentation? Because when we get we've got to do due diligence on big transfers, and we have to know who's sending the money and all that. Just send us the proof you own the company. Yeah, well, there's really no record of my name anywhere. Okay, well, can you send us? Can you make up a share certificate or something? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I don't know, this doesn't really help our compliance department. Now, I understand if you did all your business in cryptocurrency, you wouldn't have to face these restrictions. But for those of us who deal with, the regular people who want to pay by credit card or bank transfer, it is an issue when you have to move money between banks. And so the anonymous LLC might not be so good for that because it becomes harder to document who owns that LLC. There are some tax advisors that disagree with me, not because my tax strategy is wrong, but because they say, why is Andrew needlessly complicating it? I'm needlessly complicating it because when you only look at something from the tax perspective, you just say, does this work for tax? Yes, it does. Does it work operationally? I don't know, we just do tax. Don't bother us operations, we don't know how to run a business, we just do tax. We don't know how to, anything, tax. And so I'm coming in and saying, great, you can satisfy the tax side, but if you're moving money between an anonymous company, whether it's an LLC or a company in the United States, or whether it's an anonymous company somewhere else, if you can't document the ownership of that company, you're going to have a harder time moving money. And the challenge is, these kind of anonymous companies are in places where you might not want to keep all of your money for asset protection. If you're selling stuff on Amazon, or if you're selling stuff through e-commerce, you might not want to keep all your money in the U.S. because you might have talked to a lawyer who said, move some of the money offshore. How's that going to work? The second reason these anonymous LLCs to me are less interesting is because the U.S. government is determined to reduce the anonymity because they want to crack down on some of the less than upstanding uses of LLCs over the years, such as people buying properties and just moving money through the U.S. real estate market through these anonymous LLCs. So the U.S. has introduced paperwork requirements such as Form 5472 for foreign owners of US LLCs to file and say, hey, here's what's going on. Now, obviously, there's a difference between telling the IRS who owns the company and telling your ex-wife or your business partner or the whole world who owns the company. And so, depending on whom you want anonymity from, that may still work. But the bottom line is, as we've said a lot of times before, the world is moving away from anonymity. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I've been successful through a number of businesses, including Nomad Capitalist, because I take a somewhat pragmatic view. It simply is. I don't want to argue with what it is. I don't want to go to battle with the US government and think that I'm going to win and be able to keep my anonymity. I just want to smooth. Go where I'm treated best. Do what works. I'm not saying just accept everything lying down, but what I'm saying is if you want to run a business in the international space smoothly, you're going to have to likely give up a bit of anonymity unless you're entirely dealing in methods that are anonymous. Even then, I don't think it'll entirely work. But if you're dealing with legal structures, I think taking into the picture the whole analysis of, does this work for tax? Does it work for operations? Does it work for banking? Does it work for my customers? Do they want to pay me in this jurisdiction? These are all questions that have to be asked. And so what I want to take the conversation beyond is just tax, just anonymity. You want to consider all the factors when you're determining anywhere you want to set up a company, whether the US or anywhere offshore. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.